There's a man you've watched make millions of people laugh, and for most of his life, he had no idea who he was when the laughing stopped. He's not alone in that. Most people are wearing a mask they've worn so long, they've forgotten it's not their face. Maybe you are too. That's what I want to talk about today. Not to scare you, but to hand you back something you might have lost. Almost 100 years ago, Carl Jung gave this a name. He said every one of us wears a persona, and that word's not random. It's a Latin word for the mask actors wore on a stage in the ancient world. Persona isn't a bad thing, you need one. It's the face you put on to move through the world. Calm at work, patient with your kids, easy with strangers, everybody has one. The trouble starts when you wear it so long, so well, for so many years, that you forget you're wearing it at all. When the performance gets so automatic, you mistake it for your face. Let me tell you about that man who made everyone laugh. When Jim Carrey was a kid, his mother was sick, often, and he discovered something. If he bounced around the room, made faces, threw himself down the stairs, he could make her feel better, even for a minute. So that became his job. Make the pain in the room go away. He took that mask to comedy clubs, and after getting booed off stage more than once, he became obsessed with one question. What does an audience actually want? And one sleepless night, he decided he had the answer. People just want to be free from concern. That became the mask, on stage and off. The endlessly upbeat, rubber-faced, nothing can touch me guy. And it worked. It made him one of the most famous men on the planet. And then decades later, he stood on a red carpet and said something that confused everyone. Who's Jim Carrey? He doesn't actually exist. He'd worn the mask so long, the man underneath had gone quiet. So if the persona is the mask, what's underneath it? Jung had a name for that too. He called it the shadow. And here's the part people get wrong. The shadow isn't evil. The shadow is just everything you push down to keep the mask in place. The anger you weren't allowed to show. The sadness that wasn't convenient. The dreams that weren't practical. The parts that didn't fit the role. So you buried them in the basement. Here's what matters. The more perfect your mask, the bigger your shadow grows. Every time you swallow what you actually felt to keep the peace, it doesn't disappear. It just goes downstairs. And the basement you never opened doesn't stay empty. It fills up. That heaviness some people carry for years and can't explain. Sometimes it's just the weight of everything they never let themselves be. There's a film that shows this better than any textbook. And this is the part that still gets me. The man starring in it is the same man we've been talking about. In the Truman Show, Jim Carrey plays a man named Truman who has lived his entire life inside a television set without knowing it. Everyone he loves is an actor. Every day is scripted. And the cruelest part isn't the lie. It's that Truman built a whole self to live inside that fake world. Cheerful, agreeable, small, because that's who that world rewarded. Think about who's playing him. A man who built a cheerful self to survive a world that rewarded it. Playing a man who did the exact same thing. He wasn't acting, he was holding up a mirror. And here's the real cost. It was never about lying to everyone else. It's that you slowly disappear from your own life. You're there for all of it. The dinners, the birthdays, the milestones, and it feels like you're watching it through glass. You can be surrounded by people who love you and be completely alone if the person they love is someone you only play. And there's a darker version of this. Sometimes the mask doesn't just trap you. Sometimes it wins completely. Walter White in Breaking Bad. He starts as a meek, apologetic chemistry teacher. Then he builds a harder, colder, more powerful mask and gives it a name. Heisenberg. There's a moment his wife tells him she's afraid of what's gonna happen to him. And he turns and quietly says, "I'm the one who knocks." That's the moment the mask wins. The meek man is gone. There's only Heisenberg now. Your mask probably isn't a kingpin, but the mechanism is identical. The version of you that you perform to survive can slowly become the only version allowed to exist. until the real one doesn't even get a vote. So here's a question worth sitting with. If you took the mask off right now, would you still recognize who was underneath? Okay, that's the hard part. Here's the part that matters more. You can put it down. Not all at once. Not by blowing up your life or quitting your job or finally telling everyone what you really think. That's not honesty, that's just a louder performance. Remember Jim Carrey? Here's what people missed in that "who is Jim Carrey" moment. He wasn't falling apart, he was waking up. He'd spent his whole life as the guy who frees everyone from concern, and he finally realized he could set that weight down and still be okay. The relief in his voice scared people because we're not used to hearing it. The Stoics had a phrase for the way out. Kata phusin, according to nature. Living according to your nature. Not the role, not the expectation, not the mask. The actual grain of who you are. And the way back is smaller than you think. The next time you're about to say the automatic thing, the smooth thing, the thing the mask always says, just pause 1 second and ask, is that true? Is that me? Or is that the performance? You don't even have to change the answer yet. You just have to see the gap. Because the moment you can see the mask, you're already not fully wearing it. There's another film called Stranger Than Fiction, about a man so locked into routine, he's basically sleepwalking through his life. One day, a voice wakes him up, and for the first time, he tastes his food, hears the music, reaches for something he actually wants. He'd been alive for years, he just hadn't been home. That's the invitation. Not to become someone new, but to come back to someone you already were before the world taught you which parts of yourself to hide. The mask kept you safe once. It got you through rooms you didn't know how to stand in, years you didn't know how to survive. Be grateful to it. It did its job. But you're not in those rooms anymore. You made it out. You don't need it the way you used to. Somewhere under all that performing, the real one is still there. Still waiting, patient. It's been you the whole time. You can come home now.